Hey y'all, it's Diana from the Dianaverse, and I'm here today to do your new moon in Taurus forecast. I'm running a little late. Mercury's not quite out of his shadow, and my communication is not quite on time. But the new moon is happening right now as I'm recording this. Actually, it probably happened about half an hour ago. But we'll have that energy all day. So let me tell you about a couple things I have going on coming up. I have the Wildcrafters Rendezvous that's going on in the Methow Valley, and that's going to be a lot of fun. It's a small group, and it'll be meeting in Eastern Washington, just on the east side of the Cascade Mountains. So if you're interested in that, Google Wildcrafters Rendezvous. Since I'm running so late, I'm not going to put a bunch of links in today, but I am also doing a seaweed adventure workshop. So it's all about seaweed, the properties of seaweed, where to collect it, how to legally harvest it, communing with the seaweed. I will have a gourmet sea-themed lunch going on, and that is going to be on Whidbey Island. If you go on Eventbrite and look under Dianaverse, you can find the link to sign up for that. And with all that said, I'll move on to the astrology forecast. I have many hats. I do a lot of things. So this is kind of interesting because for the next year-ish, our new moons are going to be following full moon. So remember when we had the double moons going on earlier this spring, where you got two moons in the same sign, two new moons in the same sign. So that's kind of pushed us into a schedule where we have our full moon energy first, and then the new moon for that sign, like today it's going to be Taurus, is going to be at the end of the sign. Whereas usually it's the other way around. You get your new moon first, the early part of the sign, and then you go on to your full moon. So the interesting thing, what I'm thinking about this energy is that you have stuff come up, right? The stuff that you've got going on in your life, it pops up, it's going on. And then when we get, that's at the full moon. And then when we get to the new moon, you have a chance to say, well, I think this is what I kind of want to do with this energy. This is where I want to move forward with that. So it's like the thing happens, and then we're deciding how to carry that forward after we kind of know what's up, instead of our generally with the new moon we plan, and then we wait for the full moon to see how that came out, right? We're kind of doing it inversely here for the next close to a year-ish. This particular new moon in Taurus is where we build what we want in our life for the next year. So the Aries new moon, you might have been starting things, you might have been deciding things, but the Taurus one is the earth quality where you start building it. And so whatever has been going on since the last new moon and since the end of eclipses, that we just had eclipse season, now we're going to be kind of concretely building things. So we've had our ideas. There will still be big ideas in the world, because I'm about to get to that. But this is where we start making things a little more real. Taurus is about our values. It's about what we build. It's about our finances. It's about property we own. It's about what feels beautiful to us in the world. It's a feminine energy, and that's going to be balanced out a lot this lunation by this grand cross that we've got going on. If you're listening to other astrologers, you've probably already heard some people talking about this, but this particular new moon has this grand cross energy. So you've got a whole bunch of stuff in Taurus across the whole spectrum of Taurus, from the very beginning, 0 degrees, to the very end, which is where the new moon is at the moment. And then on the other end of that, you've also got the North Node there. So the North Node is what you're trying to build. It's what you want to build. It's sometimes things we can't quite attain, but that's where we're reaching for, right? So on the other side of that is our Scorpio energy, and that's where the South Node is. So there's this deep, like, letting go of the past. And then balancing across that, you've got your Aries, which is moving into Leo. And then you've got your Pluto, which is still at 0 degrees of Aquarius. Pluto moves super slow. It's only going to be, it won't even make it through the whole zodiac in your lifetime. So this is energy that we, as people who've been living here, however long you've been here, have not felt before in your lifetime, because it's been a couple hundred years since it was in this place. So this is going to be really different territory for everything going on. Pluto is the deep transformation. It's about how we build wealth. And whereas it was in Capricorn, so it was a lot of extractive stuff from the earth, right? A lot of the mining and the oil and the water and all these things that belong in the earth that we were extracting. And that was like the Industrial Revolution and all these things built on our natural resources. Now we're moving into the realm of systems and technologies and thoughts. Aquarius is an air sign. It's a masculine sign, whereas Capricorn was an earth sign. And all the things we were taking out of the earth, it was, if you think of a feminine principle as being giving and nurturing, that was that earth quality, and we were taking all of those things from the earth. Now we're moving into a masculine sign, and it's a sign of ideas and forward thinking and planning and the overall systems, for better or worse. We'll see how that goes, right? We won't see the end of that, because it's going to be in that sign after everyone who's listening to this is already gone. But this is just the very beginning of that process with us. So we're going to be rethinking all of our systems, and there's going to be ingenuity in how we work with the things that we work with here. So it's a big change, and it's a slow moving change. So we won't see all of that just right at this new moon, right? But this is the process of beginning that. But that energy is going across, and it's on the other side from Aries and Leo. And Aries and Leo, they're both fire signs. They're both also masculine signs. And that Aries wants to move. He's been in Cancer, where he was a little more self-contained, working within. Now he wants to get out there. This can be anger. This could be violence. You know, when you've got Pluto and Mars on two sides of the coin. Can also be righteous anger, where people want to give from the heart. You know, Leo is the heart. It's about being creative. People are coming up with creative ideas. They're like, I'm mad about this, but I have this great way that we can solve that. Pluto's like, well, I don't know. I'm going to change things, but we're going to see, right? So they're like not necessarily working together. They're opposite from each other. And then crossing that is that Taurus, all the stuff in Taurus. And our south node, which is Pluto, not Pluto, but the sign that rules Pluto, which is Scorpio. Scorpio itself is a feminine sign, so I don't want to get too caught up in gender ideas. It's more about the quality of the sign, whether it's more active or more receptive, or just those general qualities that we think of in having things on either end of a scale, let's say. So there's a lot of dynamic tension when you have a grand cross like that, and especially in the fixed signs, which are the Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus. Those are your fixed signs. Interestingly enough, side note, I'm wandering off topic, but those were really accentuated in the past, a few thousand years ago, because they went with the precession of the equinoxes. That's where the equinoxes were happening every year. And that has the precession of those equinoxes, because where we orient as we move through space in relation to the constellations out there is that we slowly shift. And so we have shifted into mutable signs, or mutable or cardinal. Shoot, I'll have to look that up. But I'll get back to you on that next time. But we're no longer having the equinoxes in the fixed signs. So things really are shifting. We're going to be feeling that Pluto with this, because it's part of a much broader energy, but people are really comfortable when they're in the fixed signs with the way things are. People can be very dogmatic and there can be stagnation. And so it takes a lot of energy to move those ideas, and there's pushback against it. It's going to move because it's moving. That Pluto is not going to stop and go back too far. I mean, it is going to go back into Capricorn a little bit next year, but it's going to keep going forward. There's no going back to 50 years ago. It's going to go forward. It's just, it may drag some people kicking and screaming. Hopefully that won't be too dramatic. There is an element with Algol, which is a fixed star that's associated with Medusa. So you're going to see some of the feminine, because you've got this cross between feminine and masculine energy going on and things moving. And, the story of Medusa, she loses her head, right? She gets punished for, or has consequences for things that went on. And so it could be voices being silenced. It could be, hopefully not too much literally, people losing their heads. I know there's a lot of conflicts in places in the world. Or it could just be people popping off, like losing their temper with that Mars and Leo. If their heart's not in the right place, they could just pop off with something that they may regret saying later. It could be a voice thing. So we'll see how that plays out on the world stage. I can't predict that kind of thing, but it's something to look out for in your interactions with people as systems are changing and people are trying to settle what they're trying to do. Come from your heart and try not to come from any temper, right? That doesn't accomplish a lot. Sometimes you don't want to necessarily burn bridges. With a Gaian cross, the best place to be is in the middle. And so my tarot card, and I didn't grab one to show you, but if you have a tarot deck, you can grab out the wheel card, and that has those fixed signs on there, right? You've got the angel is like the Aquarius, and you've got your bull, which is the Taurus, and Scorpio is a scorpion or a eagle, sometimes it's depicted as, and Leo is the lion. You can be pulled in different directions. My hands are outside this frame. Pulled in different directions. So the best place to be is in the middle and taking a balanced look. That way you don't get thrown off one side or another. You don't get pulled too far off one way and forget that you have the opposite thing to attend to. So trying to stay balanced in how you look at things will really go a long ways for the Selenation. And this is happening early it started a couple of days ago before I made this video, and it's going to be going on for a few more days because different parts of that cross are going to be exactly aspecting other parts of it on different days as we go along. So this is really this churning process that's going on. It can also be an exciting time to come up with brilliant ideas and make partnerships, have opportunities. You've got Jupiter in there in that Taurus with big ideas could lead to great networking. And if you're really coming from your passion, you could make wonderful opportunities that will really be carried forward in the next few years. I hope you get those. That would be nice. I'm hoping for that myself. And we also have Neptune, which is in Pisces, that is positively aspecting and connecting with several of these other moving transits. So there is a nice support group. There is a nice networking that you can do, dreaming into the future. So pay attention to things you get in dream time. If you have things that come up more than once, you might pay attention and follow those into their various rabbit holes to see where they lead. So there's some nice energy happening too that will balance out some of the harder aspects. Sometimes we need to change, but we're comfortable, we don't want to change, and so it's not always easy, and we can't always see how things happen until in hindsight. I've got an astrology journal where I'm writing a lot of things that happen every day this year, because I always hear astrologers say, remember in 2017 when we had blah 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 transit, and I'm like, I have no idea what I was doing. So I'm writing things in a journal so I can kind of go back and make connections. So writing things down, if you get an idea or you meet someone that you have a good rapport with and you want to meet them later again, like take some notes, right? Follow up on things. And I think that's most of what I wanted to say today. The plants that I'm working with right now, I'm working a lot with culinary herbs. So they're things that are aromatic and they are often carminative, which means they help you digest your food. It keeps like everything in your body flowing and moving, digesting, so you get the nutrients out of it that you need. So I would suggest any kind of culinary herbs like that. Those are often very medicinal herbs that also taste and smell good. I know in my garden, oregano is just reaching that peak of I'm about to harvest. My thyme is blooming, it's ready to harvest. So all of these really aromatic herbs might be at their peak, depending on where you are, of course. My rosemary's flowering, that's ready to go. So all of these great aromatic, they're pleasurable, and they're also very health giving. I'm gonna go with culinary herbs like oregano, thyme, your parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, right? So those are all really nurturing to your health and also keep the icky germs away. All right, so that is the end of the forecast today, and I hope you have a great lunation. Get through any power struggles without losing your head, and I will see you again at the full moon next time. All right, take care, y'all. Bye-bye.